Have you ever wondered what would happen if you could go back and fix your biggest mistakes, or would changing one thing in your past completely destroy your future? What if every choice you made to improve your life only made everything worse? These are the questions that haunt the story of a 17-year-old genius who discovers something incredible hidden in his late father's basement. Before we dive into this mind-bending journey through time, make sure to hit that subscribe button and smash the like button, because what happens next will completely change how you think about cause and effect. And trust me, you won't want to miss a single moment of this twisted tale of ambition and consequences. David Raskin is a brilliant high school senior with dreams bigger than his bank account, having been accepted to MIT but without any means to pay for it. When his mother announces plans to sell their family home to make ends meet, David knows he needs to find something valuable in his deceased father's belongings that could help him secure a scholarship. His father, Ben, was an inventor who passed away in a car accident on David's 7th birthday, and the basement of their house had always been off limits. David enlists his younger sister, Christina, and his best friends, Adam and Quinn, to help search through boxes of his father's old projects and experiments. While going through an old camera, David discovers footage from his 7th birthday party, and in one brief reflection in a mirror, he sees something impossible. His 17-year-old self reaching toward a basement light switch. This bizarre discovery drives David and his friends to investigate the forbidden basement, where they find a hidden trapdoor activated by that same light switch. Beneath the floor, they uncover blueprints for something called Project Almanac, a temporal relocation device that David's father had been secretly developing for DARPA, a government agency. The blueprints are complex but complete, and David realizes they actually have everything they need to build a working time machine. The group throws themselves into construction, scavenging parts and following Ben's detailed instructions with a mix of excitement and disbelief. Their first test subject is a toy car, but they need more power than their setup can provide. David's longtime crush, Jessie Pierce, becomes involved when they borrow the battery from her car to charge the machine. When they flip the switch and successfully send the toy car back in time, the power drain is so massive it causes a blackout across their entire neighborhood. Jessie catches them in the act and demands to know what they're doing, and rather than try to hide it, they bring her into the group and show her the machine. Now 5 strong, the team decides to take the ultimate risk and send themselves back in time. Their first trip is just one day into the past, and to prove they've actually traveled through time, Quinn sneaks into his own house and draws a smiley face on the back of his sleeping past self's neck. The mark appears on present Quinn's neck simultaneously, confirming the machine works. But when past Quinn wakes up and sees his future self, it creates a dangerous feedback loop that nearly erases both versions of him from existence. This terrifying close call makes them realize how dangerous their invention truly is. But instead of stopping, they establish a single rule. They will only use the machine together and never travel alone. With that agreement in place, the group begins using time travel for personal gain and wish fulfillment. Adam goes back and plays the winning lottery numbers to score some easy money. Christina travels back to get revenge on the bullies who have made her life miserable at school. Quinn uses his knowledge of a chemistry test to go back and ace it, securing his academic future. The group decides to travel back 3 months to attend Lollapalooza, a massive music festival they had missed. During the festival, David wants to confess his feelings to Jessie, but hesitates and holds back, making things awkward between them. When they return to the present, David can't stop thinking about his missed opportunity, and despite their agreement to always travel together, he makes a selfish decision and goes back to Lollapalooza alone to change what happened. In this new version of events, David is confident and honest with Jessie, and they become a couple. He returns to the present feeling victorious, finally in a relationship with the girl he's been pining for, but he quickly discovers that his actions have created devastating ripple effects. The blackout from their very first experiment with the toy car has caused a chain reaction of disasters. Without power that night, their school's star basketball player was walking home in the dark when he was struck by a car and broke his leg. Because of his injury, the team never made it to the championship game, and all the people who would have attended that game were somewhere else instead. One of those people was the injured player's father. a commercial airline pilot who took a different flight assignment and ended up crashing a plane, along with triggering multiple other catastrophes around the world. David is horrified that his desire to be with Jesse has led to so much suffering, so he breaks his promise again and travels back in time alone to prevent the basketball player from getting hurt. When he returns, he's relieved to find that the plane crash never happened and the player is fine. But now, a different nightmare has replaced it. Adam is in the hospital in critical condition after being run over by a car. David realizes that every time he fixes one problem, he creates another. But he can't stop himself from trying to make things right. He continues jumping back through time obsessively, attempting to adjust events so that everyone is safe and happy. But each correction leads to new complications. During one of these trips, Jessie catches David in the act and accidentally gets pulled back in time with him. She's confused and angry, demanding to know what's happening, and David is forced to confess the truth. He's been using the time machine alone, breaking their agreement, and he originally used it just to manipulate her into falling in love with him. Jessie is furious and heartbroken by his deception and manipulation. But before their argument can continue, her past self appears and runs toward them. The two versions of Jessie create another catastrophic feedback loop, and present-day Jessie is completely erased from the timeline as if she never existed. David is devastated and consumed with guilt, knowing that his selfishness has cost Jessie her very existence. He realizes there's only one way to fix everything. He needs to go back and prevent the time machine from ever being built in the first place. When he returns to the present to execute this plan, he discovers the machine is out of hydrogen fuel and won't work. To make matters worse, the police arrive at David's house because Jessie has been reported missing, and they suspect David is involved in her disappearance. David manages to evade the officers who are hunting him and breaks into his school to steal a hydrogen canister from the science supply room. With police closing in and breaking down doors, David activates the machine at the last possible second and sends himself back 10 years to the day of his 7th birthday. David appears in the basement on that day and comes face to face with his father Ben, who is still alive. Ben recognizes that this teenage boy is his son from the future, and he immediately understands what this means. He will eventually finish building the time machine. David desperately tries to convince his father that the machine is too dangerous, that it causes nothing but pain and destruction, and that it should never be completed. He tells Ben to say goodbye to his younger self, and then David destroys the blueprints and smashes a vital component of the machine. As the timeline resets without the time machine ever being built, David himself is erased from existence, vanishing completely. The camera that has been recording their adventures throughout the entire journey is left behind in the basement and captures everything that happens. In the new present, David and Christina are once again sorting through their father's belongings, just as they did at the beginning, but this time they discover 2 cameras instead of 1. The second camera contains all the footage from the original timeline that no longer exists, including recordings of David, Jessie, Christina, Adam, and Quinn traveling through time and all the chaos that followed. David and Christina watch the footage in shock, seeing adventures and relationships they have no memory of experiencing. Despite everything that happened in that erased timeline, David still possesses knowledge of future events somehow. Later at school, David approaches Jessie, who in this timeline is still a stranger to him, and he speaks to her with an inexplicable certainty about what's to come. He looks at her and confidently tells her that together they are about to change the world, suggesting that the cycle might be starting all over again.